jungle.
Welcome to the video presentation on inventions during the Middle Ages, a period that introduced us to some of the most revolutionary solutions to society's greatest challenges, including hygiene and defense. These work are amazing and deserves a flex, so sit back as we introduce you to these inventions. Wheelbarrow are human-powered carts with one wheel to assist in carrying all kinds of burdens, from harvested crops to mine tailings and pottery to building materials. The first wheelbarrow was invented in China around 100 CE during the Han Dynasty. This wheelbarrow had a single wheel at the front of the load, and the operator holding the hands carried out the half of the weight. The wheelbarrow has a great impact on the lives of the people. It is very helpful and efficient to people carry many things and bringing goods in the market or even in the farming and constructions. It makes their job easier.
As you can see in the picture, this is the Middle Age invention known as a printing press. The printing press is a machine that enables a large number of uniform printed matter, primarily text in the form of books, pamphlets, and newspaper. So, the printing press is the machine that allows to print a text, the form of books, newspaper, to disseminate it publicly. Johann Gutenberg is credited with inventing this. Before the printing press is not yet invented, prior to the invention of the printing press, all writings and drawings had to be painstakingly complete by hand. So the precursor of the printing press is the woodblock. They use it manually using their hand. So books were transcribed using a variety of materials including the clay, papyrus, wax, and parchment. When the printing press was invented, texts were more accessible. It was easy for them to produce a book that is available to a greater number of people at a low price when it was invented during the Middle Age. The impact of the printing press today is that it allows people to share knowledge more quickly and widely. In the invention of the printing press was help disseminate knowledge wider and faster than ever before. So the impact of the printing press up to these days has a very big role in our life. It allows us to incentive to educate, and texts were accessible in all platforms.
One of the inventions in Middle Age period is a mechanical clock, which derived from water clock, was born in medieval Europe. The first mechanical clocks were large devices made of an iron. The clocks has found a place in the halls of palace, on walls, on mantelpieces, and even in people's pockets. At the time of the invention of mechanical clocks, the primary use is in the monasteries. They were typically used to keep track of hours for daily prayers, to help monks calculate solar and lunar eclipses, and to determine the feast days with accuracy. The drip-drip sound of water dropping from a water clock was an ancient precursor to the tick-tock sound imitated by certain mechanical clocks. Ancient Egyptians used obelisks and sundials to measure the passing of the day. Water clocks, the subdress, were later developed to purely mechanical clocks, were developed after the invention of the bell-striking alarm, used to warn a monk to toll the monastic bell. According to many historians, it was the clock that changed everything and deserved to be called as the key factor of industrial age. Mechanical clocks enabled the people to measure time in ways that were not possible before, and because of it, our lives were changed forever.
One of the most important technological innovations during the Middle Ages is the heavy plow. It is an asymmetrical instrument which is fitted with a mold board that can be used to turn and break up soil, to bury crop residues, and to help control weeds. The antecedent of the plow is the prehistoric digging stick. The earliest plows were doubtless digging sticks fashioned with handles for pulling or pushing. Clay soil, despite being more fertile than lighter types of soil, was not cultivated because of its heavy weight. However, through the invention of the heavy plow, it became possible to harness clay soil. Professor Thomas Bernbeck Andersen of the University of Southern Denmark succinctly describes the impact of the invention of the heavy plow. Quote, "The heavy plow turned European agriculture and economy on its head. Suddenly, the fields with the heavy, fatty, and moist clay soils became those that gave the greatest yields." Unquote. Because of this, Europe, particularly in its northern territories, saw rapid economic prosperity. The heavy plow steered an agricultural revolution in northern Europe marked by higher and healthier agricultural yields and more efficient agricultural practices.
Spinning wheel. A spinning wheel is a device for spinning thread or yarn from fibers. It was fundamental to the cotton textile industry, especially during this period. Though the history of the spinning wheel is disputed, and no consensus could be made regarding the origin of the spinning wheel, it is theorized that the Indians invented the spinning wheel between the 6th and 11th century AD. Prior to the invention of the spinning wheel, weaving was done predominantly through the more time-consuming and tedious process of hand spinning. According to White, the invention of the spinning wheel sped up the rate at which fiber could be spun by a factor of 10 to 100 times. Thus, White argued that this invention ushered in a breakthrough in linen production when it was introduced in Europe in 13th century AD.
Astrolabe. It is one of the inventions in the Middle Age period. Based on the theories and the findings of Hipparchus, it was invented by the ancient Greeks in 225 BCE by Apollonius. It is one of the useful inventions during Middle Age period because the people use it in order to know the time during day or night, to identify the time of sunrise and sunset, to know the length of the day, and at the same time in order to locate celestial objects in the sky.
The invention was accidentally invented by the Chinese alchemists and called it as a black powder or gunpowder. The cannons and grenades were among the earliest weapons to incorporate gunpowder and followed by primitive handheld firearms. But prior to the invention of gunpowder, the swords and the spears are used in battles and wars. And because of the invention of gunpowder, this has allowed for more advanced warfare. And this permanently altered the way human beings waged war, brought an end to the medieval ages in Europe, and made the age of exploration possible. This also had increased the trade as a new route to make other countries economically strong. This was culturally originated from China, and this has shaped the styles of warfare at the time, while in massive political and cultural change in Europe and beyond, such as the eventual collapse of feudalism and the siege of Constantinople. And this brought a big impact to our government, to our rise, our economy, and the method in order to organize a bigger and professional armies that is capable of large scales warfare to protect our society.
One of the inventions in the Middle Ages is eyeglasses. The first eyeglasses or spectacles were invented in Italy about 1286. Although Roger Bacon was the first to use a lens for optical purposes, magnifying lenses for reading were already in use at that time. Its ability to correct vision problems, and it is one of the most useful medieval inventions, aiding hundreds of millions of people today. Following the over-the-ear breakthrough, glasses invention began to pick up speed. During the 15th and 16th centuries, the availability of printed materials such as books and newspapers led to an exponential surge in demand for spectacles. Wearing eyeglasses was seen as a prestige signal because the earliest eyeglasses were owned by medieval churchmen, affluent students, artisans, and upper-class citizens. As a result, In Spain, Italy, and China, spectacles were considered as a symbol of learning and study, as well as a sign of high intelligence and aristocracy. Eyeglasses have boosted productivity throughout time. In the past, active, productive people of society were forced to quit working, writing, reading, and performing skilled tasks while they were young. With the assistance of spectacles, these members were able to keep working.
Public library is the invention. The Malatesta Novello Library in Cesena, Italy is regarded as the world's first public library. The structure, which was opened in 1452 and was controlled by the municipal commune, allowed readers to freely use its collection. Manuscripts, which were made through the labor-intensive process of hand copying, were important valuables in the early Middle Ages. Library begins with the first attempts to arrange document collections. The mission of the public library is to provide materials and services in a variety of media to suit the educational, information, and personal development requirements of individuals and organizations, as well as recreation and leisure. They play a critical role in the creation and maintenance of a democratic society by providing individuals with access to a diverse range of knowledge, ideas, and perspectives.
Windmill is one of the inventions of Middle Ages by Daniel Halliday in 1854. It's made up by assembly. The steel section of the tower are made in factory, but the tower is normally assembled on site. Windmill is a structure that converts wind power to rotational energy. That turbine turns wind energy into electricity using the aerodynamic force from the rotor blades.
The invention was hourglass, an early device that used for measuring the time intervals. It is also known as sandglass or log glass. The precursor of this invention was ideal for ocean travel because the bobbing waves did not affect its accuracy. Hourglass were made in different sizes and its design was simple. Before the invention of this hourglass, the tool existed was the clepsydra or water clock, consisting of cylinder into which water drift from a reservoir. More than years ago, inventors began working on a bright idea that would have a dramatic impact on how they measure time. The invention has a lot changes to them.
And you have seen all these amazing inventions during the Middle Ages that made life easier for the people. Let's all keep in mind that, as what Edward Teller says, the science of today is the technology of tomorrow. Thank you for watching and have a great day ahead.